And this can be a hard task. And so Cultivate Advisors was essentially created to help you analyze and separate out those hats and really look at what areas of the business is needed my focus on, what types of shifts do I need to make, and hopefully we want to help you go to the next level and help you hold some of those hats, help you organize and get better at those areas of the business. So that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. And today we're going to talk about systems. We're going to talk about how to create these scalable systems that allow your business to grow and thrive. And systems is it's a very weird thing that I hear a lot of owners talk about. Commonly I say, what's going to be a key that's going to help you grow your business? And they go, oh, I've got to create systems. But when I ask people, well, can you break down what those systems are? Or can you help me, can you lay out the foundation you're going to follow to build those systems, or where are you going to store them? I commonly get crickets. I don't hear what people are going to actually do to develop those scalable systems. Even necessarily, some folks maybe have a hard time even defining what a system is because it is a bit abstract. It can feel that way at times. And so that's what we're really going to get into the details on today and try to give you some of that foundation, give you a list of some of the common systems. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about where we're headed here in just a moment for today. So as I said, my name is Casey Clark. I am the CEO of Cultivate Advisors. We've got a team of 30 folks here across US and Canada that are passionate about helping small business owners grow. And we're fortunate enough to get to spend anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a month with over 300 business owners every month, helping them grow and shift their business. So we currently advise just over about 350 million in revenue, and we continue to grow, but we're really, really excited that you're here, and we're really passionate to make sure you also experience some unbelievable growth into this next 2019 year. I've got a lot of experience when it comes to systems. I always believe everyone still has a ton of potential for learning. Obviously, I'm in the exact same boat. So I'm happy, though, to be speaking with you today and bring some value. I do come from a franchising background, and I wanted to point that out. I have a very specific view that I have, or a lens, per se, that I look through when talking about systems. And a lot of that comes from my background and my experience in building up a franchise business. Understanding the value of scaling to 100 units, which is what I've done in the past, allowed me to really see what are the right systems to put in place that allow you to jump into multiple territories, have multi-locations, be able to train up a group of business owners across the US. So that's the experience I'm going to draw from as I share my perspective and my opinions on how do you appropriately build systems. And I've personally developed over 1,000+ systems for other business owners. Obviously, we've advised hundreds of clients, and I've had my own experience advising for many years that I'm going to draw on as well. So I'll try to do my best to share some best practices and my opinions, but I'm going to expect everybody else to also get involved. So start to find the chat room here, because this is something we use a lot. So what I want you to do is find that chat function. Should be a button there in the middle center. If you don't see the button in the middle center, look for 3 dots up at the top of your screen and search for chat there inside of this Zoom webinar software. You're going to want to go ahead and change when it says to, who do you type to, make sure it says all panelists and attendees. That's just something that's very, very important as you set up the chat, because we're definitely going to get a conversation going. And I have some of our advisors here today on chat ready to answer questions. So if you have a question specific to you, I'm going to do my best to look for themes that are happening through the chat room while I run the webinar. But feel free to throw out a question, and our advisors are going to work hard to help you get those answers throughout the webinar. We also have a Q&A function. If you find that Q&A button, it's going to allow you to ask a question. So maybe you're a little nervous to not put your question on the chat room, or you want it a little more private. No problem. I've also got somebody standing by ready to help capture those questions. If they see a theme, they may kind of stop me or abrupt me here to share that theme with me so I can get into the details here and talk a little further about it if I have some insight. But if we don't get to those questions, we do review the chat room and we do review this Q&A function, and we will follow up with you one-on-one after to make sure we got that question answered. That's something that we take very seriously. We're going to do some polls, so keep an eye out. We're going to want to know your opinion. It helps us kind of understand what you want to hear more about, because I am going to be able to tailor my time together with you as I hear more of what people are struggling with or what they're most interested in. And always, 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 we will send you an option to have access to these resources after. So take some good notes, but also pay attention, because We are going to send some things out after, and you will have an option to select some additional resources. I'm going to talk about some really cool toolkits we use, and it'll be your decision if you want to go on and capture those, and we'll send that in follow-up if you tell us to. So stay all the way till the end, otherwise you won't have that opportunity. So I've got to chat a little bit about today's training. A lot of people, and I've showed this image a lot, there's this theme called graduated learning. I'm starting at the beginning of building up systems, and some of you may be considered experts in systems. Some of you on the call are probably beginners. That's okay. Find where you're at on the stair step. And today is just about finding 1, 2, maybe 3, if it's an amazing webinar, small things, small tweaks that you can make, right? That's the key to when you want to develop and grow as an individual or as an owner. It's vital that you find just those 1 or 2 small things that are going to help you go to the next level and focus on those and get those implemented. So although we may cover some great content, you may go, wow, I got a ton. Even then, just pick the 2 or 3 that you're going to go focus on to ensure you get implemented. And I have to set this expectation. We spend a lot of time building systems every day with our clients. It can take weeks, it can take months, depending on the type of system. So please understand that implementation does take time. Today is around paradigm shifts. It's around gaining perspective, getting a little bit of how-to for you to go implement. Really where we shine is when our advisors get to come in and help take that to the next level, really tailor it and help you implement these systems to get the scale that you're looking for. So today's roadmap, I've got 3 core things I'm going to cover. 1, why do systems equal scale? I got to make sure we're all on the same page and we all have the same mindset around this. 2, I'm going to talk about the common systems we see that really help get the lift or get the scale that you're looking for. And 3rd and finally, we're actually going to do a little bit of a workshop, all right? Now, no, we're not going to actually build a system today, but I am going to give you the framework, and I'm going to ask you 8 really powerful questions that are going to help you write out how to structure the foundation when you go to build that specific system. So I'm going to essentially get you going in the right direction that's going to help you become a great builder of systems. And it's something that a lot of our advisors use as a checklist when they're working with their clients to build out their systems for their clients. So again, please use the chat. I'm going to ask that you'd use it right now. Jump on this chat room. What are you hoping to learn today? Why did you join this webinar? So go ahead and jump in the chat room there. What are you hoping to learn today? Why did you join here on the webinar? Okay, get a list of systems that might be missing. How to make my business more efficient. Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of creating systems. To build better processes. Yeah. I just want them to run smoother. We hear that a lot. It makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Jason, Jose, going to a second location. So how do you take what you've done right to move over? Got a CPA firm, so I'm building from the start. So knowing what that list is will help you hopefully prioritize, John. Thanks for sharing that. How to streamline all the internal systems. So there obviously is internal and external managers. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. That's a good one, Mark. How to actually identify opportunities to improve the systems. I'll be curious if our questions lead you down that path. Fine tune, better time management. One's maybe a specific system for a few people that were shared. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad all of you have a lot of good reasons. I'm going to do my best to cover everything I can. Again, please know this is obviously a group for the masses. We've got a lot of people here on the webinar today. So I'm going to do my best to hit the things that I think will be most relevant. And again, if we don't hit something you are looking for, reach out to us. We want to help you. We want to help you grow. That is literally what we're here to do, is to serve and help you move the business forward. So let's jump in. We're going to talk about why do systems equal scaling. What is it about systems that help do this? And I've got a simple way that I look at this. It's a system is the method of solving a repeated business issue in a strategic and effortless way. The 2 words I want to focus on the most here is repeated and effortless. When I see the need for a system in an organization is when I'm solving a repeated business issue. It's something that's going to keep coming up daily, weekly, monthly. That's the place to start. You need to know what is the repeating functions in your business, and that is where you design the systems, in my opinion. The next step is when you're building that system, you're trying to create the most effortless way to get through the solution, right? How do you create effort? If it's with technology, if it's with a process that gets developed, if it's a training system that has to be implemented that helps solve and make it more effortless for people. The more automated and the more streamlined you can make and continue to make those tweaks, obviously the better it will be and the smoother it will run when building a system. So I've always viewed a system this way, looking for those repeated business issues that I can solve. And I saw a few people in the chat that had mentioned, I've just got started, or I have a business just getting off the ground, or I'm just looking into systems. I saw a few different comments there. And what I'd like to share with you around this is, don't just start building systems. Don't get caught. You need to go out and hustle. You need to go out and get sales and drive. You'll figure out some of these systems later, because again, just look for those repeated business issues. So that's something I would like to stress if you're just getting going. If you've been around for a little while and maybe you've built out a lot of systems already, look for the 4 or 5 largest issues that are happening constantly in your business on a weekly or monthly basis. Start there. Spend your time there, and hopefully that'll help shrink your focus today as we continue to move on, through this webinar about systems. So this is a little blurry, but this is a really important image that I wanted to show, and this is Lake Erie's filtration system. How do they get water distributed for people to drink and people to use in the municipality space? And I want everybody to go with me to this industry for a moment and look at the steps that have to happen, right? And these are very clear steps put in a very specific order that are designed to solve an issue, which is clean water, right? We have to have water that we can drink and water that we can have for cooking and every other purpose of life that we all know. Could you imagine, now let's just go to doomsday for a moment. And this absolutely still exists in the world. So if you've traveled, you have experienced and seen this. Imagine what happens when you remove a water filtration system and you don't have that within a large city center or even within a small town. How much life changes, how much more effort you have to go to have clean water, how much more expensive it is to have clean water. This is a fantastic analogy that I commonly use with my clients to talk about why are systems so important. And so the reason why I pick water is this: water is such a simple thing in life that we all have and we all take advantage of. Well, that's often what happens in the business. Employees start to do the same thing. When they have great systems, they don't even realize that the systems were there unless they were in the horrible process of building them with you when you got off the ground, right? And so what I want you to think about today is that systems don't have to be over complex. They don't have to be this huge, big, massive, elaborate thing. They can be the simplest, smallest thing that makes something run smoother, again, solving that repeated issue. So the key here is, instead of reacting to a crisis, we want to proactively address these growth hurdles with these systems. That's what I'm going to talk through today. And so as you look through some of the reactions that you're having and some of the fires you're putting out, instead of spending time putting out those fires, shift that paradigm focus and instead go spend your time proactively addressing those by creating systems. Yes, there's going to be some pain. You might get 1 or 2 bad reviews. You might have an issue or 2 with a client, but use that energy to go build that system instead to help get to where that crisis doesn't continue to happen. And when you use that as your filter, again, I find systems are very easy to prioritize and know where to build. So let's talk about how they help you scale, right? Let's make sure we're all seeing clearly what the differences are. And if I don't say something that you really think is a reason for why systems help scale, feel free to jump in the chat. You should be listening to me, but also watching that chat in case there's some really fantastic content. We all have great ideas. Number 1 here, how do they help scale? Well, it's allow thinking to be removed and increase the efficiency and productivity. It's that thought of, well, this is just how I do things. This is just how we do it, right? You remove and it actually speeds up the productivity of you and your employees. So that's a big, big reason for a system. Another reason is actually to drive continuous and sustainable internal and external quality. So what happens is that when you start to scale with a lot of employees or a lot of locations, your quality can suffer. And it's because it didn't have that special magic sauce that maybe you brought to the first one when you have to give up control. And so what is a great thing to think about is, how do we maintain quality standards? How do we hold a line of what is expected of our product or our service every time being delivered? A system is going to help you do that, which is going to create a faster scale. The next one here is how to create the ability or scale with human capital. Again, hiring people can be difficult, and so commonly I hear this phrase from most business owners: I wish there was just like 10 of me. I just need 10 of me. I need to duplicate myself. I know I felt that way myself. Well, systems is what allows you to do that. What you've probably learned and trained yourself are on systems. The question is, are they in your head? Are these systems in your mind, and do you actually have them documented? Oh yeah, I've got them documented. Well, okay, are they just your notes? Are they actually in a way that people can digest them and actually implement them and follow them? This can be harder said than done, but this is a big thing that happens that helps drive leadership and create the value to be able to scale with more human capital, putting more people in the business to help you grow and thrive. My fourth reason that I commonly look at is it serves as an asset of time for exit or sale. So everyone should have a bit of an exit strategy in their mind. How big do they really want to get this? Are they going to exit? Are they going to sell the business? Are they going to bring in partners? The sustainability factor, when we get to certain ages and we need to see this move on, depending on your situation, we all have different dreams, goals, and aspirations. But when you go to get your valuation, a valuation firm is going to say, let me see all your systems. Where's all your documentation? That serves as an asset on the balance sheet in your business commonly when you get to a certain size of a business. So that's another really big reason, so you can actually get paid for what you've created. And fifth and finally here, attract more recruits, because they feel a sense of comfort, right? When you go out to recruit, a lot of times people just say, this is what this is what our service is, or this is what our product is. Next time when you go recruit, show them all your systems. People are more attracted by that. It builds competence, proves competency, it builds trust, helps people feel more comfortable with what they're going into, that there's a clear plan and they can visualize themselves working within those systems or processes. So these are my big five. Again, if you have a different type of system or reason for why they help scale, please feel free to put in the chat box. But let's move on to identifying when, right? I think you understand maybe the importance now, maybe you already did. Let's talk about, how do you know when to systemize something? Because there is something called over systemizing. You can go too far and end up losing the wrong relationship to time when you manage your world day to day. So these are the main issues what I'm looking for that help me understand. So again, that repeatable that I brought up earlier, right? They're happening regularly. So these are some examples that I thought of that came to mind right away. Invoicing. If somebody's sending an invoice, oh my goodness, waste of time, waste of money. Like, that is absolutely automatable. That is absolutely, a system can be designed that makes that streamlined very quickly. Leadership meetings, that consistent time that you're going to meet with employees, you're always going to be meeting with people, even clients, leadership of your clients if you're a solopreneur. You need to have a set system that you follow, that your clients and your internal staff learn to operate within. Those are just great examples of things that are commonly happening in your business over and over and over again. Some other issues, though, is they take a lot of time. They just seem to be that thing that just time sucks or creates emergencies. It's just, you don't ever plan for them because you're not always expecting them. And a couple that came to mind for me was accounts receivable, right? Sometimes you'll just have to chase people down to get paid and follow up. That should be automated, or you should have designed a system that doesn't allow that to happen and triggers you when it happens, so you're not surprised that you have an accounts receivable issue. Or name generation. If I'm recruiting or trying to bring somebody else into my organization, name generation can take a lot of time. Build a very clear process that will funnel the names and help you sort through them, because that can take a tremendous amount of time. My third one is the frustration piece. Just things that frustrate you, things that you don't want to do. You're like, somebody else should be doing this, or there should be a better way. That's a good sign. Oh, I probably have not systemized this enough. One for me is payroll. I don't like filing payroll. Obviously, it's really important to file payroll and make sure all the employees are paid on time. That's a non-negotiable in any business you run. But it can be painful sometimes to have to go figure out commissions or to go figure out what the bonuses are. So coming up with good trackers and systems to help follow that tell you those things is really important. Or reporting, right? If I can't see good reporting, so we have a system designed around that. Or checking my emails. They can frustrate me how many emails I get and how long I feel like I have to spend on emails. So building up systems to help alleviate that is really valuable. My fourth one are the ones that are outside of your core competency. So for instance, website development, right? If I was a solopreneur, I'm not going to spend my time trying to develop my website. Although it may cost a little bit more, I'm going to go design a system to where I go work with another vendor. Or I'm going to go create a system for somebody else on my team to do the website. It's not my biggest strength. That's another big sign that maybe it's time for a system. So let's go a little further here. Let's talk about what is actually a system look like. You know, and I love this image put out, you know, who's felt this way? I know you've had to. It's just, you know, steps everywhere. You draw on all these graphs, you know, it looks like the football field on a whiteboard somewhere in your office or in a scratch piece of paper. That's okay. That's a system, right? It's a very wide range of what these are. You've got a simple process document as an example. Very, very simple document. The key here is you have to make sure that all of those simple process documents are in one place and easily accessible, and if possible, create automated triggers that will tell your staff and employees what to go do next. That's really when you've reached your peak of systemization with those. The next one is a complex model, all right? It's actually literally designing something you see on the screen here, really figuring out each step, all the details that go within the step. Might be a lot of imagery that you create. That could be a really good system. Another one is supportive training resources. A lot of times people just think it has to be a step-by-step process or it has to be something written. Sometimes it's actually just the system of having the right training in place that people can go find for their own resource on how to do something in the business, even if it's not that streamlined. But that training serves as more of those manual systems and help communicating that to yourself and to the organization. Notice I didn't just say to your employees, because often I see solopreneurs struggle to scale to employees because they don't realize they actually need to write down their systems as well and review them themselves. That's actually very, very important that you have your own system you follow and that you can explain it to other people. And then the last thing I like to share is automated guardrails. That's why we love technology. We're obviously in this unbelievable age of all these great productivity apps and all these cool functions that come out to help support you in every day. What the heck did people do 15, 20 years ago, right? You know, I think back even, 10, 12 years ago to how the reporting worked and having to how I had to ship payroll in overnight to the payroll company. It wasn't that long ago. So you think back to those moments and you go, oh my gosh, using technology to create guardrails to keep the business inside of is very, very important. That's when I look for tech solutions. So I've given you a lot of information on how to know when to systemize and why to systemize. I'm going to obviously take that a step further, but I want to go and throw up a poll. Where are you at in your journey of building out sustainable systems for your business to grow? So if we could launch that poll so everybody can jump in here. Awesome. So there's a few answers here. I don't have any systems, but I'm ready to start. I have a few core systems, but I haven't taken the initiative to build more. I have many systems in place, but not documented, mostly in my head. Or I am a systems guru. I've got all the systems I need. Give everybody just a minute here to keep selecting their option. All right, let's go ahead and share this poll here. So as you can see, majority here on the call today, they have a few core systems, but they haven't taken the initiative to build more for those that selected here. And then the next one here is I have many systems in place, but I haven't documented them. They're mostly in my head. That makes sense. I kind of expected that 2 and 3rd option was there. It looks like a few people are starting, and it looks like we got a couple people here that are consider themselves systems gurus, which is awesome. So if you're a system guru, make sure you jump in that chat room and add a few details in terms of how to build those systems out if you have any other ideas. So let's go ahead and remove that poll here. We'll stop the sharing results. And let's keep going, because I'm going to talk now a little bit about how to maybe take some of those core systems and to how to go build more. But I'm also going to talk a little bit about how to document them. So I'm going to hit that 2 and 3, which is great. So common systems, let's get clear on what are all different types of systems. And my hope is that I say something that helps you kind of trigger or think about a different system that you haven't identified in your business. So my favorite one on leadership is team meetings. It's this idea of having a standard process, agenda, outcome for recurring team meetings. I talked about this a little earlier. And this is really creates that recurring leadership system, and it helps you ensure consistent communication, accountability, and improvement across the company. So this is one of the most important systems I put in any business once they have employees. Because the reality is that employees need time with you. You can't just run parallel side by side with them. It's fine to get in the trenches and help them, but by them always knowing they have that space, that safe time, that space with you, and you're focused and you're able to lead them and drive them to grow the business, putting that widget in, putting in that system is what can help create a lot of scalability when it comes to your leadership function. Another really good example is the communication. We actually talked about this in some of our emails that went out with our 8-week challenge. And we talked about communication rules. Every company I look at, do you have communication rules? When you cut down communication and when you implement leadership systems, if you have employees, I find businesses start rotating sometimes 2 to even 3 times faster overnight. So this is my go-to system to look at right away. And these are my rules. So you pick your rules. Everybody's different. But just to give you an example how simple my communication system is that's documented that I give to every person I work with. You call me if you need a 1-hour response, because then it must be an emergency. You need something within an hour. You text me if it's 4 to 8 hours response, and you email me if it's 24 to 8 hours response needed. So I'm not going to go into detail of why, because we've covered this in another webinar, and we'll bring it up again. But I just want to really simplify. This is a system. This is all it takes to document and give to someone, and it can change your world overnight as a business owner or a leader of an organization. Here's a good financial example. I did this on my last webinar, so I thought I would just pull it forward. A lot of people struggle to review their financials consistently and stay intact with their spending and stay intact with their projections. So this was the system that I showed you that I consistently implement into businesses that I find really helps them thrive and maintain financial security and control. Right? And I'm not going to read them through, but again, this is a really good example, a little more of a complex. There's a lot of little steps in each one of these boxes that you have to follow. So I might have an image like this, but then I also have them documented in an outline bullet form. I don't write pages and pages and pages. People don't read pages and pages and pages anymore. So finding a way to produce things very simply is going to be very important in your journey of getting better and better at system creation. Again, these are just examples to get you thinking. I have a toolkit that our company has made that has a lot of different examples. These are not all of them. It's just a checklist that we commonly see needs to be implemented immediately into businesses. And so we're going to send as a follow-up, since you came to our webinar, we're going to send you a follow-up for this. It's going to have a little link where you can download this checklist. And it actually lets you set goals of what's the status of that system, when do you plan to build it, and just any notes. It's kind of a really great worksheet to fill out, and it helps you get your bearings straight and really provide priority and focus when you go build the system. But this will really help you generate a list for yourself if you're struggling to think about the system still. So the system identification workshop, we're going to move into workshop. So grab something to write on. If you have notes on your computer, that's great. If you have something to write on, just make sure you're ready, because I'm going to really be asking some hard questions of you that you're going to actually take and tailor to your world. So this is the only way I know to talk about systems, because everybody's is so unique. It's very hard to tell somebody how to build a system when every business is so different. So I need you to start here. I need you to be clear on your 2019 goals, because it's really important that whatever systems you're going to go build in 2019, they're in pursuit of achieving your goals. Otherwise, it's going to get put on the back burner. It's always the last thing to be done. I'm sure a lot of you are shaking your heads going, yeah, I tried to build out that system, but then I got busy with the day-to-day. So I want the systems that we're going to select here in a minute to actually complement your 2019 goals. So just take a moment. What are your top 3 2019 goals? Go ahead and write those down here for just a quick second. Everybody just 30, 44, 35 seconds here. Three clear goals. Again, these shouldn't be system goals. These should be goals of revenue, profit, or achievement of number of employees, some type of metric that you're working towards. So make sure they are SMART goals. And hopefully most of you are able to write down those three quickly. If you were not, we can help you with that. So that's a whole other conversation. Reach out to us privately. We'd love to have an advisor sit down and help you pull out and really figure out what are the right goals that are going to help you move this business forward. Let's take it to the next level here. I want you to now take those goals and I want you to pick a system or two next to each one of those goals that you think will help you achieve that goal faster or easier or more efficiently, whatever word you want to use there. A system or two you would like to build in 2019. My goal is you come up with a list of 3 to 5 here. If you're struggling to think, here's some good variables, right? What's going to hold you back in hitting that goal? What's taking too much time right now? Going to have to train others. It might get your brain going. I have to increase the quality of output for that to happen. You're frustrated doing it or you want to automate. Those are some of the things I shared earlier in the webinar. And if you could, go ahead and chat these. If you come up with a couple good systems, whatever those systems are, keep them general. But go ahead and place those in the chat. I think this will be really fun if we can get a list of 60 or 70 types of systems that get thrown in here. You guys can look through that chat space and kind of pick out which ones you like if it triggers something else that you really like. So just give everybody another couple minutes here. Awesome, Jacob. Great. This communication rules, sales accuracy rules. I like that accuracy rules. I'd be interested to hear more about that, Jacob. Matthew, they use this software, but it's in pursuit of solving that hourly rate. That's great. Track that and make sure you maintain that hourly rate. That can be hard to do depending on the business. Paul, you're going to implement company meetings. Great. I know we've probably got still a couple more people still working. It's hard, isn't it, to in the moment think through. That's why you have to attach it to your goals. Hear a lot more coming in. Subcontract report, staff meeting, recruitment process. I need to systemize that. The delivery of physical products. Great, thank you. Seasonal cash flow. Oh yeah. If you're in the trades or any type of seasonal business, that can absolutely be a very clear system you need. It's a rule that you have to follow that maintains cash. It's a great one. So it's very different. They're all over the board. This is what makes systems so hard to talk about with so many great business owners on the line. I just want to get in there and start building all of these. But I think you fully understand that it's important to set these goals. So you've identified some systems for 2019. This is a huge step. Don't lose that list. I'm going to challenge each of you that you go implement that. But let's take it a little further. I need everyone to pick one system. Look through that list of 3 to 5 that you ended up with. I need you to pick one system. I'm going to give you just a second here to identify that. And we are going to walk through 8 questions that my advisors and myself are commonly asking when we want to, essentially lay out the foundation of building a system. These are things that you may not be thinking of constantly that can really help you stay organized and get them in the right place. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Again, please identify one system if you haven't. So what is the purpose of a system? And we're actually going to do this as a workshop. This is my last slide before I walk you through some additional resources here. So stay with me. Take a minute, write down what is the purpose of that system. What do you want that system to do? How do you need that system to operate? What is the purpose of that? And keep writing. I'm just going to fill in a little details. Often what I see people struggle with when they think through the purpose of a system is they're not thinking about the root problem. They just think, I want to get to the goal. You know, we get that. But you got to think more like what's causing it. What this has to solve this problem. That's what a purpose is. It solves this business repeatable problem, which is what will get me the goal. If you're feeling it's still a little too surfaced, ask yourself why. Just say, why did I write that? Go deeper. Why? Go a little deeper. All right, the next question is timeline. When will the system be implemented? And no, don't say tomorrow. Don't, you know, this classic, oh, it should have been done a long time ago. That's fine. Let's have a funeral. Let's move on from the past. When will the system be implemented? When do you want this by? Pick a reasonable goal and date in which you want to deliver this system to you and the organization. Who will be the primary driver of this system is an important question. And you may be going, well, of course, it's me. Yeah, if you're a solopreneur, there's only one or two people in the company, I understand, but there's a lot of people on that I notice their names. I know they have quite a few employees. Something I've learned in my experience is it's really important to build systems with your people. When you do that, right, when you bring people, you can't bring everybody in, but when you can bring in a select few people, it allows you to get their buy-in and their perspective. And often if they're the ones doing things, you want to let them take it and have ownership. So picking who that driver is. And I want to make a special note because this is commonly what people make a mistake. They think internally is the only way to build a system. That's not true. Hiring someone to help you build a system can be very helpful and have a driver. It's actually something we do commonly with our clients where we actually go build a system. I'm not saying you only need to use us. There's a lot of great people out there, but that is a really, really important way to have somebody drive while you're in the day-to-day. It's just very difficult to spend time on this and do all your other tasks as the owner. My fourth question, where will the system be housed? And you may be thinking, wait, what do you mean by that? Well, are you going to, do you have a Dropbox or a Google Drive that you use? If so, how are you going to organize it? What format are you going to put it in? A lot of people like using project management software, right? Get on one of those and actually create systems that walk through how to follow the system. It's a system of a system, essentially. Really think about where am I going to house, because you want to keep your processes and systems in one place when possible. That's really, really important. That'll help you move at a faster pace or faster clip with you, your employees, and your clients. Layout and format of system. So what's going to be the layout of this? Is this an outline version? Am I putting in a full graph? Is this on Excel? Is this a training deck? What's the layout? What's the format? If I'm building a system through an automated technology platform, how am I going to have training on how to use that technology? So just make a couple notes here. Where is it going to be housed? That one system you chose, as well as how are you going to lay it out? What needs to be the format of that? Give everybody here just another minute. All right, hopefully most people are caught up with me here. Number 6, what leadership will be required to implement? What leadership will be required to implement? What do you need to hold accountability that this will actually get done? Is it leadership of you? Is it you holding the driver accountable? Is it someone else holding you or that driver accountable? What leadership is needed? What do you need to schedule to make sure it actually happens? How will you train this system? You can't just be, even though you've documented, you can't just assume people are going to go look at it. They're still going to come ask you questions, right? Clients and employees. It's important that you have a clear resource place you can send and go, this is where you're going to go look at it. And here's the training documents to support the documentation of how it works. So write down, how are you going to train everyone on it? If you go, well, no one else needs to know it, only me, don't do that. Something could happen to you that removes the sustainability of your company. And this is what I find people commonly miss. How will you revise and update? How will you revise it? When are you going to come back and look at this? Because it's probably going to change and adapt over time. You most likely didn't build the system to be perfect from day one. You're going to need to adapt slowly. When you make those adaptations, are you going to come back and fill them in? Is someone else? So this is just a really great layout to follow when you start to go build systems. You identify your list, you set your goals. So as an owner, every year, I'm looking at the 3 to 5 systems I want to make a massive change in our business. It's really all I can pick. Now that I've identified the ones I'm really trying to figure out and work on, I'm going to have to test and trial a few things. But before I do that, it's important to walk through these questions so you know how everything's going to get laid out. And then it allows me to go at rocket speed because I've asked some harder questions of myself. So then I can go, you work through that driver and get them built. And we end up getting to the end goal of having those systems, which ultimately are aligned with our annual goals as an organization. And when you connect all those dots and you streamline that, I literally just gave you a system to help build a system. All right. And that is what today was all about. So I want to go to another poll here. And sorry, I just missed one little quick hit. We do have a systems builder toolkit that walks you through all 8 of these questions. That's also going to get emailed out. It allows you to list all your systems with a great tracker that you can keep wherever you house all of your systems, to where you remember all the different systems you want to build. Think of it as like a critical path or a roadmap that you'll slowly work through. It's a great, great resource or small little tool just to have in your arsenal as you continue on this journey of becoming more systemized. But I want to go to a poll here. I want to know, how are you feeling about building out your system? This is a little different of a question here. So let's go ahead and launch that poll. And what I'm looking for is, do you have a hard time identifying what systems to work on now that I've walked through this? Or has that figured out? Are you feeling good about your chosen systems, but you don't know how to build them? You still want to get more in the details around that? And the last one here, I feel good about my chosen systems, and I feel like I actually know what I want to go build. Just give everybody a few more seconds here to go ahead and participate there in the poll. Okay. So let's go ahead and share those results here. So again, most are feeling good about the chosen system, but don't know necessarily exactly how to go build them. And that's okay. I mean, I don't know how you necessarily would, and it's hard for us to give you that training in a group format. That's really the value of one-on-one advising, to be able to go and work through that. So go find an expert. We'd love to, be in the interview process for that, but go find an expert to help you do that if you don't know how to build them, because you're really getting into some tailored conversations. But I'm really, really excited that close second was, I feel good about my chosen systems and I know how to go build. That's awesome. I mean, you got to just go do it now. That's the next step. So if you need help in being held accountable to that, let us know. That's how we can support you. Otherwise, go do and really make a difference in your business. And a few of you said, I'm still having a hard time identifying what systems. Reach out to us privately. Jump on a call with our advisors. We're common to give a little bit of time here and there for free. Tell us that. Help us understand what you're struggling with, and we'll try to guide you in the right direction. We generally just want to help. So if we can go ahead and stop sharing that poll here, I want to show you guys a few other quick things that I think might help you when it comes to building systems. Just 1 second here. All right. So if you're a client with us, all right, if you're a client, make sure you talk to your advisor. And I would love that you take your list of systems to them so you can get that added to their internal roadmap that they're keeping track of, because I know they're going to be there to help support you. And that's something we're doing constantly. So if you're a client here on the call, please make sure you take that step. If you're not a client and you want some help, right, this is our process. We're going to just get on a phone call and learn a little bit more about you. And then we're going to help you select which one of our advisors would be the best fit to work through some systems with. And then from there, we're actually going to get you a free deep dive. So if you want to take advantage of that, all right, you're absolutely more than welcome to sign up. So we have some options of how you can kind of take advantage of the next steps. If you just want to have a quick call to learn more about us, let us know. If you'd like to schedule a free 2-hour deep dive, let us know. It's non-obligation, but we will want to just learn a little bit more about you first. If you want to sign up for the next webinar, I'm going to share some details on that here in just a moment. And then if you want to just, again, learn a little bit more, that's the best place to start. It'll help you just get more information to figure out if you want to take the time to take that free deep dive. So lastly, clients only. We have a peer development group this Friday. If you want to go a little further and you want to be able to collaborate and jump into some of the breakout rooms with other owners and really have a discussion around some of these themes that we talked about today, make sure you sign up for our PDM, our peer development meeting that's happening this Friday. Again, that is clients only. So only select that here if you're a client. A couple just last things here. Client perks. These peer development groups are fantastic. We have our annual conference. We just had it a couple months ago, but when you're a client, you get to come to that conference. It's a great time with a lot of owners. So if you enjoyed this, you'll really, really enjoy getting to do it in person for a couple days. And think about having 18 hours of this type of content, way more detailed and focused. Half-day workshops we run for our clients, as well as they have access to our resource hub, which has over 800 pages of training materials you can use not only for yourself, but also for your employees and others within your organization. And ta-da, our next webinar series here, February 26th, mark your calendar. Please select on the poll that you'd like to be signed up if you'd like to be able to go through that. And we're gonna be talking about handling objections. So if you do sales or you have a sales team, please make sure you check this out. We're gonna really get into the details of how to handle these objections. So as always, my wrap-up process here. Choose those next steps. If you haven't already, I know most of you have, thank you for that. Jump on this chat. Give me your biggest takeaway. What's the biggest thing that you grab from today? This really helps me figure out how to tailor these webinars to offer the most value as possible. So please jump in there and let me know, what was your biggest takeaway? What are you going to do differently because of today? And if you have any other final questions, jump on that Q&A and shoot some questions our way, and we're going to reach out to you post the webinar to make sure you get those questions answered. That's super important. So thank you everybody for coming. And remember, you now have identified your few systems. Go implement them. Gave you 10 minutes of your life back that maybe you didn't have planned. Go make a big impact for you and your clients, for your products and services. Thanks so much for joining. Take care.